So midway through the year, if Detroit's not in contention, or they just say, you know what, even though we're doing good, let's start rebuilding, which
right.
most of those small market teams always do. They trade them up for some big arms in the young,
Well,
in the
well
future.
here's the thing. What if David Stearns is trying to get a guy like Scooble or other folks, right? And he's planning
He
to
won't
use
get him off. He won't get it before the season.
Okay.
He,
I
he
mean,
won't. He
again,
won't
you
get it
never
before
know,
the
right?
season.
Some of
I
these
don't think
things
so.
because
Him and Skeens, I think they're going to open up the season with their teams. I think as month 1 and month 2 go, depending on how well or how poor they're doing, that's where the conversation will start coming in. Because if like for example, Detroit played pretty good last year, right? They made the
right,
playoffs, right?
right,
If they play well, it may be something that warrants him wanting to stay. But if they play poorly, right, say by mid-season before All-Star break, they're like 9, 10, 11 games out of first place, right?
yeah,
And maybe 6 games out of the wild card spot. He might be disgruntled to the point where he might say, you know what, trade me to a contender.
yeah. It's
Right?
possible. It's all possible. Now, again, I don't know. The thing is, I feel like David Stearns is playing this very smart because I feel like when he went and told the Brewers no to Jonah Tong, it wasn't necessarily because he believed. And this is how a lot of fans are taking it. He's thinking that, well, Jonah Tong is definitely going to be part of this of the Mets 2026. He may, right? It could be that's what he's thinking. But honestly, if I had to guess on what's going on, I feel like David Stearns has been talking to another team, and they're really big or really adamant on Jonah Tong for good reason. The kid has a lot of promise. He's again our number 2 prospect. I think that there's something big in the works right now that could be announced. Who knows? Who knows when it could be announced? We're running out of time right now before we get to reporting to spring training. But I feel like any day now we're going to find out whether that Jonah Tong piece was on purpose or not. I'll tell you. And if we have to jump on an episode 3 to discuss it, then we'll do that. Because I feel like David Stearns is making he's wheeling and dealing, and I love what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I mean he's doing a good job so far this year. Unlike my bullheaded GM that we got.
Sorry, I like to call him Bob Trashman.
Oh God, the guy is like.
Sorry,
listen, and I don't think it's his fault. I think it's Al's.
Yeah.
Al doesn't want to
think
spend.
you're right.
He's pretty much set with this. Don't want to go over the 300. He wants to stay under the 300 million mark.
Yeah. So Cashman has his hands tied, is what you're saying.
But they're gonna have no choice, right? If you want to compete, right? You want to compete because right now the way the fan base is with the Yankees, right, is most people are just saying, "Oh, screw that! I'm not going to go this year,"
right?
Because they haven't shown the fans like, did they win this Bellinger battle? Yeah,
right.
But at the same time, you didn't. You basically were telling your fans, and you told the MLB because when you put that out there, this is what we offered him. You were trying to satisfy the fan base to show, look, kind of like what they did with Soto, right? Last year,
right?
They showed, we offered him. Look, this is what we offered him, and he declined it.
Right.
It made us feel like, well, look, we did the best we could, right? This is what we offered him. So the fans forgave the Yankees for that. They're doing the same thing with Bellinger. And basically they're putting it out there so that all the other teams know what the Yankees offer. Now, can anybody else come in and swoop in and sweeten the deal a little bit? Sure, they could have. But I think the way the AAV works, nobody felt like it warranted the 7 years or even the 5 years, because then there would be astronomical additions to their numbers.
Right. No.
Had they not signed Tucker, the Dodgers probably would have went for Bellinger, but they weren't a big mover on him either. Remember, they gave him away.
Yeah, nobody wanted to give him that extra long contract.
No
you know
small
what I mean?
market team's
Which
going to give him that, and Toronto would definitely was not going to give him that.
Yeah. Ultimately, the market's going to give you what the market feels you're worth. You know what I mean? And
he would have been a great fit for the Mets.
What's that?
He would have been a great fit for the Mets.
Right, but the Mets weren't going to budge. I think the Mets were like thinking 3 years, 4 years tops, and he ended up getting 5 from the Yankees.
But it wasn't much. It wasn't much different than what the Yankees offered. They gave him a little bit just so that, what's his face can save face. But his agent, Scott Boras.
Right, Scott Boras.
But the Yankees always stuck with the 5 and 160.
Yeah.
Right? He got 162.5. So
right.
It was $500,000 times 5.
Right. Hey, you know what? You asked me. I think they all got pretty sweet deals, but
listen, it's not a bad deal, right?
Yeah.
Plus, he loves the Yankees. I know that for a fact.
Right. Well, it's not just that he loves the Yankees. He belongs, meaning the field is built.
The park is built for him. Yeah, the park is built for him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he understood tradition, right? His dad played there. He understood tradition. He loved the way the Yankees tradition is, the history. And he knows, just like Garrett Cole, when he came to the Yankees, they always know the Yankees always build to try to win chips every year.
Right.
Had they done that in the last couple of years since signing Cole? No.
Right.
But, the mindset is still the same. And we hope that Al Steinbrenner keeps that mindset, because as long as he does that, people are going to believe. But this year they kind of took a step backwards, because let's be honest, the Mets are a whole different team this year, right?
Yeah, completely different. And that's the thing.
The Yankees are the same.
A winning team. I mean, I hope they're a winning team, but
right. But look at the Yankees. They're the same.
Yeah, the Yankees are exactly the same. I mean, I guess minus Paul Goldschmidt.
Well, yeah. Goldschmidt minus Weaver minus Williams. But they're basically the same, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
They didn't add anybody other than Bellinger, right? And a few people, Ahmed Rosario, Caballeros, those are key pieces. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
They're key pieces, but they didn't have nobody like. This is basically their first offseason move.
Yeah.
If you think about it. I mean, legitimate one.
Agreed.
We got Ryan Weathers, which is pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's a good signing. I think that's, acquisition, because I think they traded Ryan Weathers, says here, for 4 minor leaguers. And I have no idea the quality of those minor leaguers. But
they weren't.
I think that was a pretty good move.
Yeah, they weren't big names.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're where they are right now, which is the same as last year, which you're still Toronto pitching wise, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. But their offense is going to take a little hit without Bichette.
Yeah, and that everybody's a year older, and I don't know, right? You can't necessarily guarantee that they'll have the same result.
And their pitching is going to be different.
Correct.
Because people already know the youngster.
Right.
Right. So they're going to adapt to him. Right. So the only one that I think and could quietly make a little splash, not a big splash, would be the Orioles.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, Orioles.
They got a lot of young players.
Yeah, and they got Big Pete.
And they got Pete there now at first base,
which
is a pop. And they lost a couple of key players, but overall they're still young.
Yeah, they're gonna love Pete in Baltimore.
Was it Soundcastle, whatever his name is, Sandcastle?
Yeah. I forgot his name, but I know who we're talking about.
Yeah, the Orioles are going to be not the team to beat, but they're going to be tough.
Right, but they're going to make some noise.
Right. Boston will be all right.
It.
Boston will be all right because they always are all right. I think they're leaning more towards pitching.
Yeah, correct.
Because they got Sonny Gray. Right?
The Yankees have kind of stood still, but everybody else has kind of made some moves and has kind of morphed. So now it's kind of like, well, we got to wait and play and see what happens. And I think that's what the Yankee fans are frustrating them, because I feel like a lot of the Yankee fans, from what
everybody's gotten better. Everybody's gotten better. Everybody's gotten slightly better than the Yankees.
Correct. And that's what I think is worrying fans a lot is
Right.
that, wait a minute, where's our push to get better? Right? Like first base, that was a question that I had for you because I know you're big on signing Arias. I mentioned that in the group chat with David and Willie, and Willie didn't have an opinion, but David was like, it's just that his defense is not good. And I'm like, well, you want a contact hitter though. You can't get much of a better
defense.
Than Arias.
His defense is solid at first base.
I think technically he's below average, meaning according to the stats. But
I think he's solid.
I don't know. I think defensive first baseman, like there's very few Dom Mattingly's and Keith Hernandez.
No, you're gonna find those. Those
right. Those are not rare. That. You don't gotta find those that
often. Other than Carlos Santana.
Yeah. I mean, like, so for me,
if he comes back to the Mets,
hey, you know,
I would love the Yankees to get what's his name, from Cleveland, third base.
Cleveland third baseman.
Ramirez.
Oh yeah.
I would love to get him.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. 1 second here. You guys got McMahon at third base, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how McMahon did last year. What was your impression of McMahon?
He's great defensively, offensively needs work.
That's the thing. When you get a player, because he came from Colorado, correct?
Yeah.
I always, because every time somebody puts up offensive numbers in Colorado, you know the Colorado effect. Let's check his numbers at home versus away. And I think McMahon was one of those guys that showed the typical pattern that his numbers look great at home, but away, he seemed very human. So, I mean, the Yankees got to know this is not like, insider info. The Yankees had to have known this, that this could have gone there, this way. And I have no idea because I haven't really followed McMahon's performance, but it didn't seem like he made a whole lot of noise last season for them. So that's why I was trying to get your impression, because right now he's slated to start at third base, and I have no idea if that's a good or bad thing for you guys.
Well, remember, he's there, but I think the long-term patch to that is going to be Oswaldo
Cabrera. Yeah, understood. Yeah, I have
because Oswaldo Caballero and Ahmed Rosario, they're all utility players. And then don't forget, we have that other kid too, the other Peraza, Oswaldo Peraza.
Yeah.
Who's also an infielder. So between those players, eventually one of them is going to. Right now, the defense, from the defensive mindset, it would have to be Ryan McMahon. But from an offensive perspective, you have to go Oswaldo Cabrera.
Yeah.
Switch hitter, plays decent third base. Now, the other option would be, if you can get him out of retirement, Gio Urshela.
Who's that?
Gio Urshela.
I don't think I'm familiar with who that is.
Gio Urshela. You don't remember? Well, he used to be with the Yankees back when Cano was there. He just retired. He just signed a one-day contract with the Yankees to retire as a Yankee. But if they could convince him to come back, he was a pretty good piece. And
I'll tell you,
and don't forget, the other one out there that's a free agent right now too is Miguel Andujar.
Yeah.
I'd bring him back. As a matter of fact, I'll bring him back and Gary Sanchez back.
Wow, yeah. There you go. You're gonna have a reunion. Like a class reunion.
No, as backups.
No, I joke about that stuff all the time. There's players out there that you're like, that guy could play until he's 90.
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced with Austin Wells. Defensively, I love him, but offensively, inconsistent.
Yeah. And again, that's very common for a lot of catchers. Obviously, Ben Rice is the guy that you got slated to play first, unless you guys end up signing Ben Rice is officially a first baseman. Right.
So that's fine. But as far as catching, I wouldn't mind leaving Ben Rice alone, leave him on first
Yeah.
because that's his natural position, and
Right.
then signing a backup catcher, which Gary Sanchez would be a great backup catcher
Yeah.
if you bring
Yeah.
him back.
I don't know. I don't even know who Gary Sanchez played for last. But he did
No,
well
it
with
was
the
with I think it was with Baltimore.
with Baltimore. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did well with the Yankees. I don't know what all happened with his situation.
It's lackadaisy, the Cano flu.
The Canoe. I like it.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
the Cano flu.
Oh, shout out to Cano. That is his last game in New York. That was a pretty special moment. He seems obviously, Mets fans don't embrace him as much as the Yankees because, he didn't have a great stint with the Mets. But he seemed like a good guy.
See, look, the Mets, whenever they get Yankee players, like official Yankee players, like Cano, they don't
Right.
embrace him as much as when we get Met players.
Okay, I can see that. I mean,
Listen,
you guys had Gooden, you guys had
right?
Strawberry.
We're being honest here, right? Because
Yeah,
when we
sure,
had Gooden, we had Doc.
I can see that.
I mean, we
I
had
can
Doc,
see
we
that.
had Cone,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
So
I
Strawberry.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I remember. I will tell you, like Len Dykstra, when he went to the Phillies, when I used to go to Shea Stadium, he was beloved and still is beloved, even though
Well,
like
yeah, but he was a homegrown, and they loved the way he played the game, a la
Yeah.
Pete Rose, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Lenny Dykstra was a little Pete Rose.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, nails. Right.
Maybe
I mean,
maybe not as offensively the best threat, but the
Right.
kid can play.
Yeah, yeah. Just in
That's
terms
like
of
that's like Todd Frazier, right? Todd
Yeah.
Frazier was a
Todd
jack of
Frazier.
all trades.
Yeah,
Right? He
Todd
fit in with
Frazier.
any team because he brought that energy with every team he went to.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So you
He's
think
he's actually up for next year for Hall of Fame. Todd Frazier,
Really?
believe it or not.
Hey, we got to talk about the Hall of Fame. I want to make sure that I give you a chance, though. If there anything else about the Yankees that you wanted to discuss?
No, they haven't really done other than the Cody Bellinger thing. They haven't really done much. I'm not, overly optimistic about how our season is going to be next year. The only time that I'm going to probably get optimistic about it would be when both Rendon and Cole come back, if they do
Yeah.
come back,
Yeah.
and then see and address the team the way it is. But it looks to me like the Yankees are going to stay put. I don't think they're going to go out and get a big ticket unless they can scoop up a Scooble or something or someone or Skeens. And I think that's the only route they're going to go from here on out until the mid-season trading deadline or whatever, closer to the playoffs or whatnot, to give up a Spencer or even a Dominguez, because those are the chips right there. Those are the only two chips out there, Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez, to give up to get quality players. Oh, and Schittler out, obviously, but he's going to play a pivotal part of the rotation this year. So I don't think they're going to give up on Schittler yet.
Yeah. So you think that the Yankees are going to save their moves for coming up?
I think so.
Right before the trade deadline.
I think so. They're good. The Yankees are on what have you done for me lately mode.
Yeah. Right.
So they're going to see how things go the first 2 months without the big top names. And then once they see if they're in a position to make a move, that one starter, I would be surprised if they sign Framber. I would be shocked. I'll take it, but I would be shocked. Right?
Yeah.
Because right now, to be honest, if they're going to blow the budget and CBT, they might as well do it locking in the player.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
I agree. Cole is on his 5th year. He's halfway through his contract. Right? Fried just signed last year.
Yeah.
Right? So you got him locked down. Rendon, you could get him for a good price next year if he decides to walk out.
Right.
And
But
then
with
you got
Cole, you have to make sure that he comes back as his own self. Meaning,
yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like I think they're going to be on a wait and see approach because they
right.
want to see how things go with Rendon and Derek Cole and see how
Yeah.
their health goes and when did they come back. If they come back and they make a push by mid-season, then they may go out and find a trade. But
Right.
if they really want to give those guys a desire to get back sooner and work out, therapy wise, physical therapy wise, more often and faster
Yeah.
to get back on the diamond, sign Valdez.
Yeah.
I mean,
honestly, I don't
they
see him on
only
the
gave
Mets,
us,
but yeah, I can't.
listen, they only gave us one, Cody
Yeah.
Bellinger, and he's our own because he was ours last year.
Yeah.
Give
Yeah.
us one that's outside of last year's team. Valdez would
Yeah.
be the one.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, Zach
And he
Gallen was
fits.
still
And he
available.
fits. And he fits in the stadium. Ground ball pitcher.
Yeah. That's the part. Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that. Ground ball pitcher, because that's what I love about David Peterson, right? He pitches to contact, right? And that's efficiency. You gotta love it. I think that's one of those things where, like, the strikeout, right? We talked about the strikeout from the offensive standpoint, but from a pitcher standpoint, it's overrated, right? The name of the game is getting outs. Now, when you strike somebody out or you get them out with a ground ball, now if you can go and strike somebody out in 3, 4, 5 pitches, that's one thing. But if you can get them out with one pitch, isn't that the best, right? And that's what I loved about David Peterson. And you mentioned Framber Valdez. That's a thing that I really want to see more of. And that's why I think a lot of folks are so high on Valdez. And for the Mets, like, that would be awesome to have Valdez and Peterson, who are two ground ball pitchers, on the team, because honestly, I think that's what the game is needing, right? Like, it's such a, and it seems like such a, like, duh concept, but you pitch to contact sometimes, right? Sometimes you need to strike out, but a lot of times you want efficiency out there, because the idea is try to go deeper into the game if you can, right? We've just become so adept, right? It feels like the game has moved towards, now if a starting pitcher goes 7 innings or 6 innings, we give them applause. And I'm like, back in the day, it's like, you got an applause if you did, 8, 9 innings, right? If you did a complete game. 6 innings? I'm like, I don't know. I know the game has evolved, but I feel like certain things like efficiency for a pitcher, they never go out of style. Like, they're always valuable. What do you think about
anybody Valdez, anybody other than the Mets, Yankees, Dodgers, and I'll say even San Diego.
Right.
Any of those 4 teams, if neither one of them bite at the apple with Valdez,
right,
I don't know what Valdez is going to do, because Astros, by nobody biting at that apple, then Astros had the upper hand because he can go back home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Astros could give him a decent offer, not an overwhelming offer, which is probably what the Houston Astros are probably, biting at their tongue for, at their lip for, because I think they're just waiting and hoping and praying that Valdez is still out there.
Yeah.
Right. Because then that would give them the upper hand, because that's his home. Right. He's been there. He knows the players already. So I think unless somebody can woo him, right, or because I don't see him going to Boston.
Yeah, I don't see that either.
If he goes to Boston, it's because he knows somebody. But I don't see him going to Boston, because I don't think Boston is built to legitimately, contend for the division itself.
Right.
Right? Because the Yankees are still the front runners. So if anybody's the closest to getting to the World Series right now on the American League side, it's the Yankees, because of the experience and the players they already have. Right. And of course, the Yankees will always add to it if they need to.
Right.
But if he's going to stay in the American League, if he's going to go to the National League, I'm looking San Diego or Dodgers.
Okay. For Valdez?
Crazy for Dodgers, but if they wanted to, they can get it.
You think for Framber?
What's that?
You think for Framber Valdez, the Dodgers and San Diego? And not the Mets?
Well, no, in the Mets.
Okay, in the Mets. All right.
No, and the National League would be the Mets too. But see, that's where the Mets, because right now they got Peralta.
Well,
right?
that's the thing. That's why I was saying I think David Stearns is secretly still trying to pull that string, right? And I said secretly because I don't.
If he wants to go all in, this is the time to do it, right? If he wants
Yeah,
to go, even if he goes over the luxury, whatever happens with Peralta next year, you can always let him go. But if you lock in Valdez for 4 years, 5 years, you got a piece already there.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can control Valdez. You can't control Peralta because Peralta has all the chips on his side.
Right.
I'll play 1 year, and if you pay me my money, I'll stay here.
Yeah.
Where Peralta, where Valdez, right now, nobody's biting. So
and the thing
whoever
is,
gives him a good, reasonable offer right now, I think it'll be 3 or 4 days or 5 or even a week, 7 days max. He'll sit on it for 7 days, and after 7 days, he's gonna say, "Well, Mets offer me this. I'm going to the Mets."
Yeah. And we still got Zach Gallen out there, and then the Mets are talking about Jose Quintana, and I feel like that Mets.
No, I think they should. I think that should be 1B. If it's a lower cost, but if the Mets really want to be all in and satisfy, like for example, Juan Soto, right? Because that's the reason why Juan Soto came there.
Right.
Get yourself Valdez.
Yeah.
Before the Yankees do.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. You heard that here first. Mets. Sam is imploring you.
I'm telling you, whoever gets Valdez, right, out of New York, Yankees or Mets, they're going to be in great shape.
Honestly, that could be like that could
be already right now. It's tougher for you guys because you're going to deal with a monster in the Dodgers.
Right.
But it'll be a no question thing for us if we get Valdez.
I think you're right.
Who's going to compete with us?
Yeah, I agree. I don't see anybody that would. I mean, even now, like I said, even as it stands, the Yankees are going to be in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like,
wild card at worst.
Yeah, but either way, the thing about it is you got to be in it to win it. And now, at the very least, even if they don't make any other moves, I feel like I don't see them not being in the playoffs. Now, will they win it?
Will they be in the World Series? I don't think so. Not with this current roster.
Right. But with somebody adding a Framber?
If you're only gonna give me Bellinger this year, then I'm demanding that I get Valdez too. Because you can't count Bellinger. Bellinger was part of last year, right? Yeah. Right now, you're giving me the same team as last year.
Right.
My expectation is that the ones who were here last year have better get better this year, right? Because you spent the year together or half a year together because some of these guys came in a little bit after the All-Star break or whatnot. But now you're going to have a full season together to play consistently together and develop some kind of core between each other. Then we're going to sprinkle in, like, keep us afloat up until Cole and Rendon come back, right? And then Volpe comes back in late April, late May, because then that would be another factor, right? Yeah. Even though he's not what I consider a big piece of the puzzle. But at the end of the day, if you do that, and then you sprinkle in Spencer Jones, you sprinkle in what's his name? Lombardi. Every now and then.
Yeah.
Right? Because that was part of what we did in the years past was every now and then we brought up one of the youngsters to get them acclimated to MLB so that when the time came and you could expand the 40-man roster to include playoff, right? Yeah. Now you can add additional players. You can bring these kids in to make an impact in the playoffs. You know, so again, I think Valdez right now being available, which is the top priority right now in MLB, whoever gets him, right, out the Mets and the Yankees, it's gonna bring you to that next level. For you is gonna be immediate because you got your cores already. There's nobody, on a high injury, whatever it is. It's gonna be instant success for you guys. Right. For us, it's gonna be gradual. Yeah, because we have to wait till Cole comes back and Rendon.
Yeah,
but if we can get Fried and Valdez to solidify along with Gill, right? Ryan Weathers, and
Right.
Shipler, right?
Right.
Those three just to hold the fort until the big two come back.
Yeah.
Imagine that roster, right? Top four, you can have Garrett Cole, Max Fried, right? Valdez, Rodon. And then the fifth could be a wheel. Shitler.
Yeah.
Imagine that, facing that in the playoffs.
Yeah. That's pretty, I mean, like I said, that's a pretty good rotation to go in with. And I mean, and then it's the question of like,
and I'm not even adding Lewis Gill and Ryan Weathers.
Yeah.
Right? Because and Will Warren, but mainly Lewis Gill, who was the rookie of the year.
Yeah.
For a pitcher, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good lineup. And like I said, if you add another arm to that, I mean, it's hard to like go in there not expecting to win. At least to get into the World Series, right?
You need those lockdown pitchers because an offense as old as the Yankees, right? The offensive side, as in age wise,
right?
They're not going to be able to score a lot of runs. They'll score a lot of home runs and all this other stuff, but you're going to need to win a lot more 3-2s, 2-1 games and 4-3, 5-4 games, right?
Yeah, it's very
and the best way to do that is you get solid pitching.
Yeah,
because one swing of the bat from either Stanton or Bellinger or Judge or even Chisholm, will change a whole outcome of a game.
Right.
So they got the pieces. It's just a matter of let's get somebody who's going to keep the other team below 3-4 runs.
Yeah, agreed. Keep that big inning from happening.
And the Mets, like I said, the Mets are going to score in bunches. So the Mets have a little more leverage because their offense is a lot more, in my opinion, a lot more stable and more offensive minded than the Yankees. But
yeah, Alvarez
the pitching is going to kill you. Alvarez,
he's shown a little bit of flashes, right? Obviously,
he's a good defensive catcher. I don't think he's a good offensive catcher. Oh.
Honestly, I mean, I would say the opposite. I think his defense has been the one that's been a little bit more suspect. So we got Jay-Z Beers here saying, "Let's go Mets." But yeah, shout out to you, Jay-Z. It's a great name. Yeah, basically for me, Alvarez was the guy because we got Torrens from you guys. I think we purchased that contract we got him for like $100K. And Torrens is a tremendous defensive catcher. Now Alvarez has shown a little bit of flashes there in terms of performing, but Jay-Z, thank you. He just subbed. I appreciate that, my man. Yeah, he's shown some tremendous promise, in terms of, improving with the defense, but he's been more offensive minded, except that last year, he's shown a drop off, right? He struck out a lot more. He's a guy that swings out of his shoes.
But he came around when he was brought back up. So that was critical.
Yeah. Like so he's shown a little bit of
he showed a little more confidence when he was brought back up.
Correct. So I think because he's so young still, I mean, I think he's like 24. The kid is young. Yeah. He was brought really young. I still think we're still seeing that development. It's just that we already seen some of what he could do. So we have the high expectations for him. So now this is his chance to show that he's the goods. And I saw a little bit of that last year, and I'm excited that if he starts dedicating to hitting the ball the opposite field, because he's strong enough to be able to pull the ball out, to be able to put the ball out to the opposite field, at the very least hit the ball in the gap for a double. He has that potential. It's kind of like Pete Alonso. Like when they go opposite field, they're their best. And that's what Alvy, I need to see that from him this year, a dedication to the opposite field, because that swinging out of his shoes, he'll hit some mammoth home runs, but most other times he'll strike out.
No, I agree.
And what else? So obviously Brett Beatty, Mark Vientos, we talked about him last time. We already know that he needs to turn it around. I don't know how many chances he'll have given the new setup. Right now, I have him DHing. He also plays a little bit of first base. But right now we have Polanco slated to play first base, even though that's not his primary position. So it's going to be a little interesting. I think what Mendoza is going to have to do is give these guys a little bit of time to try to show what they have, and then whoever's able to demonstrate that they can play is going to play. And Jay-Z says after this year, Mets or Yankees are going to go after Skubal when he is a free agent. Yeah,
I think he's going to be traded midseason.
Yeah, I don't see how I see that happening as well, especially if the Tigers don't do very well. Like if there's no prospects,
I don't think they're going to do well, Detroit, and I think they'll trade him midseason to get something back because they know they're not going to afford him.
Yeah, and like I said, that's when the Yankees or the Mets will be in really hopefully good position to be able to make that.
Or the Braves.
Or the Braves. Hopefully not the Braves.
Braves got a lot of cap.
Yeah. And JC says started, yes, but he will be a free agent after this year and test the free agent market. Yeah.
It's possible, but I don't think anybody's going to trade their top chips for a player to be rental for 6 months or 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to end up giving, top 50 players, 2 or 3 of them, if they do that, unless Skubal commits to signing an extension.
Yeah,
if he does that,
rare guys. He's one of those rare guys.
They'll be more than happy to trade their top players in their organization.
Yeah, Skubal was one of those rare guys that people will back up the truck, right, to be able to go get him. Obviously, Paul Skeens would be another one of those guys. They stand out even amongst like great pitchers, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does something really crazy to go get him.
I think Skeens will be out first.
I don't doubt either. I mean, I could see that happening.
I think he'll be traded before Skubal.
Yeah, the Pirates are just not in any position to sign anybody really to a big contract.
Are many of them. As are many of these small market teams.
Correct. So, I just don't see. I think you could be right about that. And again, I would love either of these guys. Anybody would, right? Who wouldn't want a Paul Skeens or a Skubal on their team? Like
I'll take Skeens over Skubal.
I would too. Although, like I said, for me, they're so elite. I'm like, it's like apples,
Nah,
it's like,
Skeen is a workhorse. That dude is
he's
crazy.
A bulldog.
He's crazy.
You gotta love. Trust me, we face Skeens when we play the Pirates, and it's always like, man, how can we make this game close to be able to get into like 8th inning? Maybe he gets out of the game, and maybe we have a chance to win.
Yeah.
That's always it is with a guy like Skeens. School is very similar, but that's the way. I mean, pitching is number one, and it's number one for a reason. But yeah, it's exciting just the idea of being able to have somebody like that, even if it's only potential, right?
Yep.
So one thing, Sam, before we check out here, we wanted to talk about the Hall of Fame. We had 2 recent inductees to the Hall of Fame. I actually added a third person here because this is a guy that was on the Mets. He was also on the Blue Jays. He's a renowned hitter, and I want to kind of compare a little bit of the numbers here. Again, all this stuff, guys, if you're watching it, like any of the stuff that is generated by ChatGPT, there might be mistakes in here. So you have to kind of excuse it because, it's just me being smart, working smarter, not harder. But if you see an error in any of this, then just know it was ChatGPT's fault. And technically my fault for letting it, for showing you guys. But I wanted to go over some of this stuff because, one, I was a little bit skeptical of Andrew Jones, to be honest, even though I realized I saw him play and I know he was a factor, right? Like I know what a great player he was. But at the same time, I was like,
dude, just look at the Gold Glove Award.
The what? The Gold Glove. Yeah, the Gold Gloves is definitely.
We're not talking about 10. We're talking about 10 consecutive years.
Yeah, I agree.
That alone is crazy, unheard
Yeah,
of.
it's pretty nuts, to be honest.
But his play skills, right? He changed a lot of games for Atlanta. He saved a lot of games for Atlanta with his defense,
Right,
which is what he's known for.
right.
And that's where that 10 Gold Glove awards come into play,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
10 years in a row.
yeah, yeah.
Think about how
maybe it's
hard
because,
that is.
yeah, maybe it's because I was comparing him to Beltran, which is not fair because Beltran,
No,
oh my
Beltran had a
God.
longer career.
Yeah, well,
He had
not just that,
extra
it's just
years.
that he was just a better player. I mean, look at the hits, right? Again, not that Andrew Jones was bad, right? It's not. I'm not saying that.
But if you gave Andrew Jones 3 more years, he would have got past him as far as like hits and RBIs.
I mean, maybe, right? I mean, we're talking about the last year of his career.
I think he would have. I think he would have. But the truth of the matter was that Beltran excelled because of the way he approached the game.
Yeah.
Even in his later years, where Andrew Jones was more like a journeyman because once he left Atlanta, right, everything became a little bit different. You see when he first came on how slim he was, and then he got bigger.
Correct. Agreed.
Right? So obviously he lost a lot of the I wouldn't say passion, but the physical needs and demands of playing that position, which was center field.
Agreed.
But let me tell you something. But let me tell you something. To be praised by Ken Griffey Jr., right, Andrew Jones, it says a lot about his game.
Yeah.
Because Ken Griffey Jr. loved Andrew Jones.
Yeah.
And to this day, I think they're pretty close friends. But Ken Griffey Jr. was the pillar of center fielders, right? Of all time. If you think about it, well, Willie Mays, right? But thinking about the next best thing was Ken Griffey Jr., right? Which is who we saw during our time. And then you see this kid, Andrew Jones, right? Which showed similar, right? Call him Spider-Man because he climbed walls. But he showed similar approach in defense the way Ken Griffey was. And 10 Gold Gloves. And in a couple of those seasons, he took them from Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah,
so think about that.
No small feat.
So think about that. Why he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It wasn't to bash Andrew Jones. The fact is that I think he has the second lowest average of anybody in the Hall of Fame. Is what I read. Again, that average is only one part of one's profile. And 254 is not like that's terrible, but what I wanted to also point out here, besides the fact that Carlos Beltran was a beast, right? Look at the stolen bases. The guy was a 5-tool player, right? And he did it in so many different organizations, and he did it so consistently from the beginning of his career to the end of his career, right? Like everybody knows, like he was on the Yankees at some point. Then he went back to the Houston Astros. He almost never really. He never like had a downside per se, right? He was very consistent.
But remember, Carlos also had a better, I'd say, young career, only because he came into the league later. Andrew Jones at 96 was in there at 19.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Carlos Beltran broke the major leagues when he was 22.
Yeah. Agreed.
So
it was kind of
Andrew Jones had to adapt a lot quicker at his young age.
Yeah, I agree. And that's not, again, guys like that, guys like
Don't get me wrong. I love Carlos Beltran. I think Carlos was a great and well-deserved Hall of Fame. I think Andrew Jones was just as well. And just like I think even Carlos Delgado. I mean,
that was the main point of all this. Because I'm like, Carlos Delgado is still not in the Hall of Fame. So he doesn't have eligibility with the old system, right, with the sports writers. This is all voted by the contemporary committee, right? That's the committee that they developed to analyze players that played or retired after 1980, right? But I'm like, how has Carlos Delgado not been voted in this year? Now, again, maybe it's because of Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones, but I've got to think that Carlos Delgado has to be in there. Look at these numbers. Again,
home runs.
Yeah.
But even still,
nobody like you didn't go and watch Carlos Delgado to watch him play defense.
Here's what I think, right? And could be controversial, whatever. But there are many players that should be in the Hall of Fame that are not in there. Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Right? Regardless of what the issue was. Forget about
Yeah.
that nonsense, right?
Yeah.
Pete Rose should be in there. Look at
I
he's
agree.
had that record for the most hits.
Yeah.
I think he should be in the Hall of Fame regardless of what. Roger Clemens, A-Rod, Manny Ramirez, Mark McGwire, Canseco, right? You got a lot of players, but because of the PD, they're like, oh, this is not. I said, look, call it a crime, call it whatever you want. We got and I hate to take this into politics, but we got an administration today that's doing everything left and right. And that's criminal. But yet we still worship him, right? And then we got these guys who play everything. Yeah, they might have been a little dirty here or there, but they played the game. Because remember, whether you have PED or not, you still have a stick in your hand and you still have to hit that little white ball.
Yeah. I personally
I don't
agree.
I don't think
Pete Rose wasn't a PED. Like, he's the guy that's different because he wasn't on PEDs.
I mean, even Barry Bonds. Come on, Barry Bonds is not even in there.
I know. And he may never be because of the situation. But Pete Rose is different because Pete Rose's situation
makes up these stupid rules? Like, you want to put somebody in there and say Mark McGwire broke Babe Ruth's record, 61 with an asterisk, fine. If that makes you happy, do it. But you can't not acknowledge what these players did.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like I said,
Delgado, man, like the guy was so consistent with the runs batted in.
You still got to pick up a wooden stick, right, a la bat, and you still have to hit that little white ball that's coming at you at the time. Could be 85 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour today. You still got to hit the ball.
Yeah.
Right? PED is not going to do it for you.
Yeah. Agreed. Silver Slugger Award right there. Like, again, 3 for Carlos Delgado. Again, this is like you pay to watch Carlos Delgado hit, and not just to hit home runs, because he could do that, but he's going to drive the ball in, right? He's the runs batted in guy. He was the guy that was almost always in the leader or amongst the leaders.
Yeah, I feared him every time he came up to bat.
Yeah, it was amazing, like how he was able to get those runners
back in the Toronto days.
Yeah,
I feared that man when he came up to bat.
Yeah, I mean, wow. So, like for me, if Carlos Delgado does not get in the next, like I think it's every 3 years they meet. So now we have to wait 3 years to watch. Hopefully, Carlos Delgado get into the Hall of Fame, and I hope they do it because, man, look at the guy's numbers and look at the consistency.
He'll get in.
I hope so, because I'm like, because part of me, again, don't get me wrong, I don't I completely agree about Beltran, and then now, like, maybe the Carlos Delgado thing was what got you on Andrew Jones.
I think it's a good sign that Beltran got in, right? Because if Beltran got in, you're talking about a guy who's involved in a garbage can scandal, right?
Correct.
So I think they're leaning the right way because they're starting to understand that who cares about that, right? What happened, and happened, whatever. It doesn't still take away from what they did as a player.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe their morals or their lack of empathy for the game, maybe that lacked.
Yeah.
But the fact that they put up numbers, right? Numbers that other people, a la Barry Bonds, will probably never, ever get to again.
Yeah.
And you're still denying people the right to be in the Hall of Fame. Again, put the asterisk. I don't care.
Right.
I don't think Barry Bonds will care anyway. And neither would A-Rod, and neither would Roger Clemens, and neither would be Andy Pettitte, because Andy Pettitte is creeping closer next year.
Right.
Are you going to put him in?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it begs the question. I mean, the biggest one of all, of course, the two, well, 3, I would say, because I wouldn't say Canseco was legitimate. But either way, I would probably say Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, Pete Rose. Those three,
Right.
without question, they should be in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, for me, Pete Rose, no question, and I think Barry Bonds. Now, after that, I get a little squirrely because, again, remember, we're Nova High School baseball. You know, I don't want to.
We're not condoning PED. We're not condoning that. But what I'm saying is,
don't do that, please, because that's not the point of the.
No. What I'm saying is what they did on the field, right? Which is the actual game.
Yeah,
is things that other people can't do. I mean,
right. And the thing
you want to put in Sammy Sosa because they had the same thing, but Sammy Sosa for me was like a couple of years on him. McGuire's been doing it for years.
Right. Barry Bonds was, before he even got, like, you could see the time when he transformed his body. He was an elite player. He was like one of the best, if not the best player, before he even started
for years. And he got ball 4 intentional walks all the time.
Yeah. So
it's one of those things, he still put up the numbers.
I guess I'm a little bit of a Barry Bonds apologist because I've seen the man play throughout his whole career, and I appreciate what the guy could do even when he wasn't on the juice. And so I give him. So I definitely don't want to open the floodgates because there's a lot of players that you could go borderline on.
Well, but
Rafael Palmeiro, all these guys.
The numbers speak for themselves, though.
Yeah,
but you can't put Rafael Palmeiro over, Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds.
Definitely not Barry Bonds
because the numbers are like astronomically
different. None of those juicers, none of the juice guys could beat Barry Bonds, in my mind, because for me, Barry Bonds, again, obviously he became an uber player when he was on the juice, right? He was a guy that
I don't even think Palmeiro should be above Pete Rose.
No,
because
Pete Rose
a player
is also like, that's why I said, for me, Pete Rose and Barry Bonds, those are exceptions. Like for me, again, not because I'm condoning their behaviors, right? It's because I know for Barry Bonds, I watched him play. For Pete Rose, I've seen enough of Pete Rose and obviously my dad was a big fan of Pete Rose, right? From folks that you talk to that watched Pete Rose play, they will tell you that guy wanted to win more than anybody. He was
like your head off
of his, right?
I've watched him play when I used to be.
There you go.
When I was a Met fan.
Yeah.
The Felix Leon days.
Passion, right? That's the guy that was an ultimate competitor. So like when you see that, you're like, okay, I'm not trying to tell you that what he did was right, but to deny him entry into the Hall of Fame, I'm like, man, that seems a little excessive to me. But
again, I think so. I think they're playing stupid politic games and holding people to a pedestal that I guarantee you, if you look at the background on most of those people who make those kind of decisions, I bet you they got dirt on their lives.
Yeah.
We just don't know about it because we don't hear about you.
He said, you guys all got skeletons in your closet. It's just that you guys aren't playing in front of millions of people.
I will admit, I've never used PED.
Right. I also never used PEDs. And I know it's hard to believe. Natural. Yeah, exactly. But so my hope with all this, again, hopefully there's no Andrew Jones folks that thought I was trying to bag on him. It was just, I was more hurt about Carlos Delgado not getting the nod because I think that guy, man, obviously if you watch some of the Blue Jays, you know all this. But if you were a Mets fan like myself, you saw that man carry that same consistency with the bat. Again, I know he wasn't known for being a great defender, but it wasn't like he was terrible. He was a serviceable first baseman, right? But he was a guy that when you had guys in scoring position, you wanted to see that guy at the plate. And,
I mean, if you think about it, right? Usually, what was the saying a couple of years ago? If you hit 500 home runs, it's pretty much a lock. He was close.
Yeah,
I mean, they're all close.
As close as you're gonna get.
They were like, he was like one season away from hitting 500, right? On a decent season, maybe two.
One decent season, yeah.
But at the same time, had he played 20 seasons like Beltran, I'm sure he would have hit 500.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
who's one of the closest one in there? Pujols,
Right.
right? Pujols hits 500 some home run. But
Yeah.
again, Manny Ramirez has over 500.
Right.
A-Rod has 600.
600. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
because there's a cloud over them, they're holding
Yeah,
that
and
against
A-Rod
them, which is
also gets a
stupid.
nod from me. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I don't like the guy. I don't think he's a great person personally, right? Meaning, I
A-Rod?
think he's done questionable things on the field and
A-Rod?
maybe off. But for me, I think
You talking about A-Rod?
his performance merits induction. You know what I mean? He stood out.
Are you talking about A-Rod?
Yeah, A-Rod, for me. And again, it's not because I like the guy so much. It's because I think his performance on the field merits acknowledgement.
Absolutely.
So again, I'll leave that alone because again, I don't want to get too much, and I also don't want to give the kids any kind of wrong impression here about celebrating floats that cheated.
No, it's not about celebrating and the use of that because we don't condone that. That's cheating, right? But again, everybody has their day in court, right? Can they put him in there and put a little asterisk if they prefer? If I was to go to A-Rod and I was part of the committee, right? And I told A-Rod or even Barry Bonds, and I told them, or Roger Clemens for that matter, right? We'll spread the love to all.
Right.
And I said to them, look, although what you did was not right, we're gonna select you and put you in the Hall of Fame, but we're gonna put an asterisk on there. Are you okay with that? And if they say, nah, never mind, then don't put them in.
Yeah.
But if they don't care, put it in because to be honest, again, everybody's subject to their own opinions.
Yeah.
Right? Now, again, even though I don't think it's fair that they went that route, but then again, who knew what the hell was going on before them? Because I'm sure if you go back to before they got caught, there were people doing it.
Yeah.
And they're in the Hall of Fame today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the only thing that it exposed was how these people were using it. It was to expand their money.
Right.
Right. So they took it because it gave them more. If they felt like that made me hit a 500-foot home run as opposed to a 394 in right field on Yankee Stadium, right?
Right.
Or 313, right? Because I think right field's 313. I hit a 314 home run and I hit a 500-footer. If that is what made me, and I think this is why the owners were pissed because they felt like they overpaid in their eyes. I overpaid XYZ $1 million for a guy who was phony.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That his numbers were padded because he was doing this. Well, again, not condoning PD, right? But if they did it, and those people that did it before them, they did it, the numbers don't lie because you still have to pick up a stick and hit a little white ball. And I'm telling you, as a former player myself, that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, that's right. Ted Williams said it. It's the hardest thing to do in sports.
Yep. I think of all sports. I think of all sports, baseball is probably the hardest sport to play.
Yeah,
because of those little things.
I agree. Well, Sam, we are just under 2 hours. I know. Again, like I said, we'll leave them wanting more. But one, I wanted to thank you for joining me again. I thought that this was another good episode, and obviously there might be a couple more moves left for both of these teams before we get to report to spring training. So hopefully, we'll keep watching the next couple of days, and we'll see if the Mets or the Yankees better their position heading into 2026. But personally, I think both of these teams are going to be in contention. Right? I know they've had very different off season so far, but with the Yankees, I think we're both in agreement. They didn't really need to do much other than re-sign Bellinger, and they made a couple extra moves. I think they're going to be definitely in the playoffs again. How far they go, that will be the question mark. For the Mets,
health-wise.
Yeah, and health-wise. For the Mets, well, they made some great moves, but we also have to stay healthy and we also have to execute because we didn't make the playoffs last year. So we got to get into playoffs if we want to have a chance to make any noise, right? The whole point is become a perennial contender before the championships come. The Yankees are doing that, right? They're in the thick of things every year, at least lately. And the Mets, well, we've been a little bit more inconsistent, right? 1 year yes, 1 year no. We got to get to a position, kind of like the Yankees are, where we're in the playoffs is almost a no-doubter, right? Now, whether we can beat the Dodgers, that's a different question. The question is get in the playoffs first. Then we'll worry about the Dodgers.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback on what Jay Beers had put up there.
Yeah.
The Yankees and Mets will get 90 wins. I think pending, obviously, injuries, health, or things go wrong. On the low end, I think the Yankees will hit 88 games.
Okay.
I think on the high end, right, with good health, pitching holes, 98 wins. Right, most likely anywhere between 92 and 95 as an average. Right, will be the average between the Yankees. For the Mets, I think they do have a lot more room for error. So I think their low end would be, and again, due to being streaky or they have injuries, I'm going to say 82 wins for the Mets.
82
on
wins,
the low
so
end.
500?
On the low end.
Right.
On the
500
high end,
on the low end.
On the high end, I think they'll get 94. And why? Because the National League is a little more tougher than the American League.
Right.
I mean, you got Dodgers, you got Padres, you got Giants, you got Braves, you got all these teams, up and coming teams that are fighting. Like, even though the Dodgers are the clear cut, you still got a lot of great teams on the National League side.
It's true.
So I think the Mets will be probably between 86 and 90 wins. And it'll be enough for them to make the wild card. But
that's what I hope.
Yeah, they'll make the wild card. But I think the biggest key for the Mets and the Yankees, that one player, right? That, and it doesn't have for the Mets doesn't have to be a starting pitcher, but it will help if they get Valdez. Either one of those teams get Valdez, that's going to push them up to that next level.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. I mean, David Stearns, make it happen. You know what I mean? Like, let's get Valdez. Or if we don't get Valdez, there's Zach Gallen or there's Jose Quintana.
Or even a mid-season rental. If you're all in this year and you just want to win that chip this year and you're that close, even if it means a mid-season rental, go for it. And that goes for both Mets and the Yankees.
That's right. The main thing is the time to win is now.
Correct.
Right? Like, 2026, that's the time to win. Like right now. Right?
I would say that for both. I would say that more for the Yankees. But I think the Mets, even if they win now, they still have a good, solid team for the next couple years. So I think you guys are gonna get used to, and I'm a Yankee fan, right? I'm not a Met fan, but I think the Mets fans are gonna get used to solid baseball for at least 2 to 4 years from now.
Hey, I love it. I'll take it, man.
So
like I said,
you guys are in great shape. I mean, I'm not going to lie. You guys are in great shape. You just got to keep building off of it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we watch the games. Again, I've been through, and I mentioned this at the beginning, I've been through so many terrible seasons. And I still rooted on the team, right? It didn't mean I didn't waver, but it's a little bit nicer when you know that you have a shot, like genuinely, right? Not like hopeless optimism. So, hey, I'll take it. Like I said, if we can go and sneak into the playoffs, get ourselves a wild card berth, I'm down. Jay says, still feel every team is fighting for second place with the Dodgers winning again. Yeah, I can understand that, but for me,
hey, listen, there's always hope. There's always hope. And at the same time, remember, right? Injuries, health, very important.
Yeah.
Their pitching was not solid all last year. Remember, they
had some shakiness.
Everybody last year said the last year's 2025 team was going to break Seattle's record, right?
Yeah.
For the most wins in the year, right?
Yeah.
But they get 93 wins.
Yeah, but they didn't
even break 100.
They came on stronger a little bit. Like they had some shakiness.
Yeah. But they had the pieces throughout the year.
Yeah.
Remember I said earlier the Dodgers are built with a next man up.
Right.
So with that mentality, the Dodgers are prepared to make sure that they have somebody to back up the next person that falls down, right?
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why they did well in the playoffs, is because everybody else was hurt,
Yeah.
right? But that being said, as time goes on, this will fade away with the Dodgers. And I think, I'm telling you, and I'm not just saying it because this is Mets Yankees, I think the Mets are on the verge of doing something special as long as they keep that consistency going forward, right?
Yeah,
And
I
they
agree.
could become that threat to the Dodgers, because the only
I
team
hope
that's
so.
close right now to the Dodgers, and it's pretty skim, is the Padres and the Mets.
Correct.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
The
agree.
only two teams.
Obviously Atlanta and the Phillies could, like, they could put something together. They're always kind of in the mix of it. But you're right. I think it's there to be, again, regardless of whether we beat the Dodgers, I just
Get
want
that
to get a
picture.
chance to play the Dodgers. I want to play them in the playoffs. If we're there playing, we have a chance to win.
Absolutely.
You can't win.
Especially if you get that picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though you have Peralta, which is a good piece. No lie, that's a good piece.
Yeah.
You need, if you really, really want to put fear into the Dodgers, get Valdez.
Yeah, I agree. And we got
and then all that thing, I guarantee you, when the Dodgers come into town, they'll be like, oh crap. Because they got pitching, but their pitchings are over the hill. Like they're up there in age.
Yeah.
They have experience.
But
no, they have
hard,
experience.
right? Like after
Don't get me wrong, they have experience. But the Mets, what they have right now adding Peralta, which is another young piece, add Valdez, which is a semi-young piece there, for a couple years, you'll be fine. And if you sign Valdez this week or next week, right before the season starts,
yeah,
I guarantee you Peralta will want to stay.
I don't doubt that. Sounds like
that's why I'm saying that the Mets,
the signal.
They play things right. The next 2 to 4 years are going to be very exciting.
That sounds good. Well, Sam, thanks for stopping by again. I appreciate it. That's right. Big up yourself. Big up the channel. Big up the viewers. Jay-Z, thank you for Jay-Z Beer. Shout out to you. Jay-Z is also 57 years old, just like my big bro. So he said he watched the Mets win in '86 as I did. I was only 9 years old, but I did get to enjoy that. And Jay-Z says the Dodgers really want to three-peat badly and will do everything they can to accomplish it, paying Tucker $60 million a year. It's crazy. I agree. It's crazy talk, but you know what? I bet Kyle Tucker doesn't think it's so crazy. I think he's like enjoying that. Shout out to Tucker for milking that.
Miami Marlins and Tampa Bay Rays thank him.
Exactly. So, bro, thanks for joining me. Thank you to Jay-Z. Thanks to all the viewers here. And Jay-Z said, love you guys already. Hey, I appreciated that, my friend.
Brother. Right back at you.
Enjoy. And then look out for episode 3. Like I said, we'll be back maybe sooner than you think, right? We make some big moves. I'll get Sam back and we'll jump on here and you guys can catch us. But until then, this is Sam for the Yankees, Luke for the Mets, for Subway Series number 2. And we're going to tell you, as always, stay balling, my friend. Have a great day. Ciao, everybody. Peace.